What's up? My name is Lisa, aka Disney 65 fan, and today I'm going to do a review of a film that I got on DVD this year. It is, of course, Bicentennial Man, which stars late Robin Williams, Oliver Platt, and Bette Davidson, and tells the remarkable story about this android called Andrew Martin. Well, NDR-14 before it became Andrew, played by, of course, Robin Williams, who, he's not like most ant robots. Like, he's a housekeeper for the Martin family, owned by Sam O'Neill, who plays Richard in the film, and he, of course, was the one who purchased Andrew as robot. And he realizes that he's not Andrew isn't like most robots, because he has human characteristics. And of course, once the Martin family dies, Andrew kind of wants to have freedom. So when he does get freedom, he of course goes on a remarkable journey to see is there any androids like him. Now, before I go on any further, there is going to be a few spoilers, so if you haven't seen Bicentennial Man, then you have been warned, because I am going to go spoiler mode in this film, in this review, so you have been warned. So here we go. So of course Andrew does meet up with this robot called Galatea, who is voiced by Kirsten Warren, who of course was in 30 and 30 as Trish. And Andrew meets up with this guy called Rupert Burns, played by Oliver Platt, who he took over his father's business, of course, to do synthetic skin and organs and all that. And Andrew, of course, decides that he wants to help out Rupert with these, of course, remarkable designs. So of course he ends up being the guinea pig to experiment the equipment that Rupert has, and of course he eventually becomes a human. Andrew does. When I first seen, of course, Robin Williams, for the first time out the robotic suit, I said to myself, is his face CGI'd? Because it looked very CGI to me, a little bit. But yeah, I like that special effects that you see of him transitioning from a robot for like an hour into the film. He's like a robot, and then he becomes a human after that in like the next hour. So I thought it was very fascinating how he does become an actual human being. Of course, when he does become a human for the first time, Andrew, he meets up with this girl called Portia, who was played by Bette Davidson, who also played Little Miss, who had a thing for Andrew when he was a robot, and before he transitioned to the and then Bette Davidson became Little Miss as an adult, as an old woman. And of course, she also plays Portia as well, who is Lloyd's daughter, apparently. So at first, he and Portia don't get along, because she's says to him, "Oh, you're a robot, that's all you're ever going to be, is a robot." And he's like, "Oh, I know you don't like me that much." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't say that, I actually do like you, but I'm just saying that you're always going to be a robot to me." And he's like, "Oh, that won't do." And of course, when he finds out that Little Miss dies, he asks Portia, "Oh, will everyone that I care for will die?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm afraid so." And of course he's like, "That won't do." Because he kind of has this thing that every person that he's going to love will die, because that's the power of human life, human nature. Everyone does die. So yeah, as the film progresses, however, Andrew does fall in love with Portia. The thing is, she gets married to some other guy. Of course, he doesn't want her to marry this other guy, Charlie, because, as he says in one scene, which made me laugh, about, you wouldn't marry some guy whose shin could sink the Titanic. And I was laughing, because that was a nod to Titanic, since James Horner does the score for Bicentennial Man and Titanic, which I thought was very, very funny. That line they said. And of course, Portia doesn't marry Charlie after. But yeah, as the film progresses, Portia starts to get older, Andrew starts to become more and more like a human. He gets these synthetic organs, he gets the stomach that he can actually eat, be able to eat and drink and everything, which I thought was very fascinating. But each time he goes to the World Congress meeting, they're like saying to him, look, you're immortal, you're a robot, you're never going to be human. No matter how hard you try, Andrew, you're not going to be a human. That was the first time. The second time then he does go, however, like, this keeps saying to him, you're still not going to be human, you're immortal, that's it. But of course, as Andrew, like, becomes an old man the second time he went to the Congress meeting, he actually dies in the end of the film with Portia, because he said to her, look, I cannot live without you, Portia, because he actually is in love with her, like I said. And eventually he does die in the end, Andrew, and Portia, of course, dies along with them. And the movie ends with the two of them holding hands together, and that was pretty much it. And of course, the World Congress, the crew of the World Congress meeting, they were like, oh, from now on you are a man, you are a human, and of course he does. So yeah, what do I think of Bicentennial Man? I'm sorry for rambling, I'm like ranting over this movie. Surprisingly, I saw this movie like 3 times, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this film. It's not the best Robin Williams movie I've seen. There is, like, the only issue I have with this movie, if I have to be brutally honest, is the genre. Because you watch the first half of it, you kind of go, okay, is this a comedy, sci-fi, whatever? And then you watch the second act, which is like, because the movie's on for 2 hours and 6 minutes. And then you watch the second act, and you kind of go, okay, now it's a romantic fantasy sci-fi drama. Because the movie does act like a romantic sci-fi comedy drama. But yeah, I love the special effects that Robin Williams goes to, because I read somewhere before that he was in the robotic suit that he wore in the film, and I was shocked. I was like really shocked that he was in this robotic suit, because it was so realistic looking to see Robin Williams as a robot and then see him as his actual self. Only kind of, like I said, he has this like CGI. Yeah, there is, I have to say, there was CGI in Robin Williams' face, because he looked very youthful looking. I saw it like about a couple of days ago, and I sat there and I was like, okay, like I said before a few minutes ago, that he has this kind of like youthful appearance, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird now. But yeah, also I liked Robin Williams' chemistry with Bette Davis, who played like 3 people. She played Little Miss as an adult. Then she played her again when she was an old woman, and then she, of course, she plays Portia, who is, like I said previously in this review, Lloyd's daughter. So yeah, I thought their chemistry was very, very well done, and I have to admit, I actually cried like a baby in the end of this film. The ending, like I said to you, like where Andrew dies and he holds hands with Portia and they're now accepted as a married couple, I was like in tears. And the special effects of Robin Williams as an elderly man, I was like, holy shit, he looked like an actual 70 plus man, even though he's like 200 years old, because the title Bicentennial, the word means 200 years old. And he was like the oldest human to actually, well, he was a robot and then he becomes a human to survive, before he decided to just, die as an old man. So I thought the special effects was very good, since Greg Canham, who did Robin Williams' makeup and Mrs. Doubtfire, was also over Robin Williams, transforming Robin Williams as an elderly man. So yeah, there was a lot of scenes in this film that hits you like a truck, but the ending was just very, very sad. I also like that song that Celine Dion sings in the end, Then You Look At Me, which I never knew she's in a song in this movie at all until recently. I was like, oh, so Celine Dion's involved. But yeah, overall, you guys, I give Bicentennial Man a 7 out of 10, and a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really like this movie. I can't believe though it actually bombed at the box office, because apparently Columbia teamed up with Touchstone Pictures, so the film is a Disney film, but it bombed at the box office. I think it was because of the cheesy, corny plot that it had, and it was kind of confusing, like the genre. Like I said, was it a romantic drama? Was it a sci-fi drama? Was it a comedy? Was it family? For me personally, I think it was a romantic sci-fi drama with a bit of comedy thrown in the mix, because Rob Williams does have a few funny lines, like the one I mentioned before about him, about the lad's chin being sunk like the Titanic. And one about like the breasts or something. Yeah, it was a really enjoyable movie, and I was kind of shocked that it didn't win much awards. Like, it literally bombed, and I was like I said, so yeah, that's my rant spoiler review of Bicentennial Man. Let me know in the comments down below, have you seen the film, what did you think of it? And before I leave it at that, I just want to say that I was always a huge fan of Robin Williams growing up. I've seen Robin in like so many movies. I saw him in this movie Bicentennial Man, which I have reviewed. I saw him in Jumanji, Hawk, Mrs. Doubtfire, the list goes on and on. Even saw Aladdin 2. I have Aladdin DVD, and I saw all of my Disney movies, which I have in DVD. So yeah, he was a remarkable, talented actor who was gone too soon, and he'll always be missed from me. So yeah, if you want me to review any more Robin Williams movies, then I have no problem with that. So if you do, comment down below what your favourite Robin Williams movie is. Did he have a huge impact on your childhood like he did with me? And till next time, take care and see you soon. Bye.